Hey guys, guess who's back? Welcome back to my FanGirl Review, guys, and today we are going to review Reality High, a teen drama that's pretty much a really good movie as far as I'm concerned. It deals with a girl named Danny and her troubles with high school and her, going on to adulthood. I think it's a pretty good one, and I'll be sure to. And it deals with a little bit of social media too, obviously. So, anyway, let's just go into it, okay? So the story begins with Danny, who is in summer camp, and at this time, her friend Alexia approaches her, tells her her big crush Cameron is interested in making out with her, no less. So later that night, she goes to the boys' cabin. And she's about to put a smooch on him, but it turns out it's not Cameron. It's none other than a pig, I'm sad to say. Then Alexis appears with all her friends in tow, who start snapping photos and videos and making fun of her, calling her pig's breath, and she runs out of there. And then she takes the friendship bracelet that she has on her hand and tears it off, and she puts Alexi's friendship with her in the rearview mirror, obviously. So years later, we see Danny, who's all grown up. Well, not really all grown up. She's a teenager, obviously, and she has not too many friends. Her only friend in the story is called Freddie, who's a DJ at the school, and he's also has a crush on Danny. So who's not bad. But she's not interested in him in any way, obviously. So, but she still has a crush on Cameron, who is a swimmer, and whose dad has very big ambitions on making sure he becomes an Olympic swimmer and hopefully take over his car dealership, in that order, of course. And of course, Danny's dream is to become a vet and go off to veterinary school if that's possible. And of course she's volunteering at a veterinary clinic, obviously, looking after animals and looking after dogs, her biggest passion, puppies, obviously. Anyway, we then cross over to high school, where we meet Alexia, who is the most sorted out influencer. She's more popular than the cheerleaders, I'm afraid to say, because the cheerleaders seem to be taken aback by her aura, like she's some kind of demigod in high school. Anyway, when they're in the cafeteria, she's like saying, "Oh, can you move, Danny? I don't want you out of my shot." And she's like to the camera guy, "We'll edit her out, blah blah blah," like it was nothing. Anyway, later on, she approaches her. She's actually dating Cameron at this time, Alexia, obviously, and she tells her boyfriend to look after her dog, and while she's doing her own thing. Of course, when the dog gets sick, he takes her to the clinic, obviously, where he meets Danny, and there they spark up a conversation, and he starts warming up to her, of course. We later learn that Cameron does breaks up with Alexi. Alexi turns out she's going to date another influencer, meaning she has no more interest in Cameron than I'm interested in Tom Cruise. Anyway, so the story goes on that Danny, let me see, she is going for her is going for a scholarship interview, and she has nothing to wear. Her mother suggests to give her her pantsuit, but of course her sister Taylor objects to this idea because it's old, I guess. Anyway, Alexi's veterinary friend, the owner, who's also Freddie's aunt, he offers her a nice outfit to wear to the interview, which turns a few heads, including Freddie's head, who has this romantic fantasy that he'll proposed to her. No, not really. That's really ridiculous. But anyway, Cameron approaches her after being broken up. He wants to have something a little bit more better than just a pretty face to look at. And he sees that in Danny and offers to come hang out and have burgers or something. So she comes out, and of course Alexei frightens her off, saying, "Stay away from Cameron, stay away from my dog," type attitude. Ooh. This was before she breaks up with Cameron, obviously. I should have mentioned it earlier. Sorry, guys. Anyway, later on, Cameron invites her to a pool party, and Danny has nothing to wear. So she approaches the same woman again, who's at the clinic, and she offers her fashion advice. And she also has her father's credit card, obviously, which is a good thing because most clothing does cost a bundle. Anyway, soon enough, she comes to the house, but is unaware that it's a pool party, obviously. So she walks in there, dressed in a nice dress, of course. But of course, Cameron doesn't knock the dress, and his friends don't knock it. Even Alexei's friends start warming up to her, which is a nice thing. Of course, she has an amazing time at this party, and when the party ends, Cameron offers to give her a swim lesson, and he gets her to wear one of his mother's swimsuits, who is no older than him, I guess. Anyway, it's kind of cute, the interaction they have, and he also admits that the reason Alexei hates Danny is because she was envious and jealous of her. The fact that she had a feeling for Cameron, and I guess vice versa. Anyway, so they just make plans on having another date, obviously. So anyway, they part ways, and of course later on they are making their plans for their next date, obviously, and they go to a restaurant, I think, and there they meet Lexi with her new boyfriend, an influencer, and of course Danny bonds with the influencer, get a few photos, click, of course that stuff to give to her sister who's a big influencer nut. Well, who isn't? Anyway, soon enough, they actually, after their date, they go down to the ocean, and Cameron tries something amazing with some, I think it was really pretty, really. I mean, he showed her some fish that glow, a really interesting glow at nighttime. It's so pretty, of course. And he tells her his big dream is not going to the Olympics like his dad wants. He wants to go off to study fish and wants to learn about the ocean more. He likes the water and stuff like that, but he doesn't know how he's going to come out to his father and tell him, "I don't want to live your life," sort of thing. Anyway, so she tells him, confides in him that you will never know until you try, sort of thing. So he thinks about this. It takes a while, obviously. Anyway, soon enough, they start spending more and more time together, and she spends less time with her friend Freddie. And she also starts spending more time with Lexi's friends, and along with Cameron's friends, who are getting along swimmingly. Anyway, later on in a pep rally, we learned that Alexi's broken up with her current boyfriend, the influencer, and she wants to get back with Cameron. And of course she approaches him in the pep rally, and she says, "No, that seat's for my girlfriend." And of course she's saying, yeah, as if, like she has not heard that Cameron has moved on from her. But Danny approaches, and Alexei runs off to the bathroom and starts crying, tries to cry but then she starts planning a plan to try to make Danny look foolish. So she ends up going to Danny's house and tries to bury the hatchet with her. And Taylor meets her and starts filming their interaction, not discreetly. Very discreetly. Anyway, so well, she tries to ask her, let's be friends, and she also shows her own friendship bracelet that she still kept. I don't know how she kept it for so long. She must have dug it out of the garbage or something. I don't know. Anyway, so she tells her, let's just be friends, stuff like that. So Danny finally gives in and says, fine, we'll be friends. And later on, when they're at the hamburger place that they hang out, she even tells her friends that they will take Danny out to the shops, to the mall, to buy some outfits and hang out. Of course, her friends are also taken back because they know Alexei and they know Danny and they know they're not really friends. Of course, they decide to agree and follow the Queen Bee's lead, obviously. Cameron spends time with his friends, obviously, but Freddie has also made plans too with Danny, where he's planning on his own DJ gig, where he's going to play at his cousin, I think his cousin's bar mitzvah, obviously. Of course, he's invited Danny to come along, and to support him, obviously, but that doesn't seem to happen, obviously. Oh yeah, and to drive him, obviously, because he doesn't have a car. Anyway, so Danny goes off shopping, and when she's out shopping, Alexei brings her cameraman, and they start filming everything, obviously. And when Danny buys some nice, cool shoes at the mall, Alexei says that shoes don't count as clothes because the clothes that Alexei is getting are for free because she's an influencer and the store offers them for her for free, and that must include her friends too. Anyway, so she tells her to use her father's credit card even though the shoes are quite expensive. Anyway, they buy the clothes and then they head to a club, and there Danny meets a famous singer, I think it was. I'm not sure. I'm out of touch with singers and stuff. And he has his dog, and he's a rescue dog. And Danny from the same place that Danny works, obviously, as she mentioned. And of course, Alexei approaches this guy and tries to make it muffins and kisses, type of thing. But he's like, oh yeah. And he says, see ya, Danny, bye, and stuff like that. And then later on, when they're dancing, drinking, Danny is soon full of booze, full of exhausted, and Alexei takes her back to her place. There, Alexei she starts rambling on and on and on and on, and she throws up, of course. And then later on, when Cameron goes for his interview, he's going for an interview, Danny and their friends, they start giggling and start misbehaving in the interview. And this is where Cameron breaks down and says to Danny, I want to break up with you. And that's it. And Danny's just ruined the relationship that she'd been pining after for many years. Anyway, so later on, she and her friends and Alexei are at her friend's place, and they're about to view the latest video that Alexei just made with Danny and her friends. We're at the shopping mall, obviously. Anyway, so the video begins where it just sounds nice and starts like that, and then Alexei brings up this topic that's not really nice. It reveals that Alexei makes out that Danny is a stalker, that she's obsessed with Alexei and all that stuff. And she starts going on about how she dresses like me, blah 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 blah, and then it just escalates down from there, obviously. And soon enough, Danny is shocked by this, and this means it's going to go really bad for her, obviously. Of course, she's not the only one. All the rest of the group is shocked and taken aback by the fact that Alexei just gone ahead and did this. And Alexei just shrugs off, saying, she saw this coming. I'm the innocent party here. She's just she just steals my boyfriend, blah blah blah. But the rest of the group say, get out and leave. Obviously, things go about more worse for Danny. The people who've seen the video start tagging and messaging Danny, calling her a stalker, to kill herself, and all those negative words that you probably see with anyone out there, which is not really good. Anyway, it's kind of sad watching Danny break down and realizing that she has made a big mess. Not with her herself, but with her friendship with Freddie, who's been there for her since he was a little kid. Anyway, so Danny is really to a game. It gets worse. At school, there's notes passing through class calling her out as idiot stalker. And the text messages and the comments continue flowing. Of course, we also have a side character in this show, this TV movie, who makes a bit of a comedy relief throughout this movie, who does a lot of pranks here and there, which kind of break the attention obviously. Anyway, later on, Alexi and her friends are in the cafeteria, and Alexi's friends are really taken aback by what Alexi has done. And they say that she goes on to say she's got no one but to herself to blame for it. And she says, she also, even in the video, she called her boyfriend her sloppy seconds. Who does that? It's just wrong when you think about that part. Anyway, it's not only Danny, but she's also making fun of Cameron too, which is not really right. Anyway, her friends tell her that you're to blame for this, and they then walk off and tell her that this is a low point for her, and of course that's the last time they hang out with her, obviously. Danny is at home, and her dad approaches her and tells her that things will be alright, and that she should focus on what's important to her, obviously. So she does the right thing and apologizes to Freddie and says that what she did was wrong, not right. And so their friendship is back to normal. And speaking of getting her priorities straight, she has to look for a venue for this puppy adoption event that she and the veterinary clinic have been organizing. So she approaches a Taco Bell type place, and the guy is reasonable enough to let them do the venue there, obviously, which goes well, obviously. And then as she's making a market campaign poster for the online, obviously, she gets more comments by those messages from those people who still believe Alexi and the stalker bit, obviously. Danny decides to do her own little video, and it confesses that she is not a stalker, and the fact that all this time she was alienating her relationships and her best friend, and it's not about her. And she says that she goes on to explain about about the adopted puppy event that she's organizing. And of course people start seeing the video and realizing that and start placing a lot of funds into the clinic, obviously, and offer to come to this event, obviously, to adopt a dog, obviously. Anyway, soon enough, Cameron actually sees the video, and he's really happy to see that Danny had given him the courage to talk to his father face to face and tell him that his dream, obviously. Later on, we see Danny getting the adoption event on the way, and we see her friend her sister Taylor actually uploaded the video footage of her sister and Alexei talking, and of course it mentioned the fact that it was Alexei begging Danny to become a friend. And And of course this newfound information proves that Danny is not a stalker, and thanks to her sister, obviously. Later on, at the puppy adoption event, things go well, and Danny is given she is given the credit for going for that scholarship and going off to the University of her desire. Anyway, later on, she makes plans to go to this pool party event that's happening at the end of the year. Of course, everyone is there, including Alexi's friends, who start matching up, including a girl that's and it's kind of nice and romantic. It was very romantic. It even reveals one of the guys named Shannon, who has a crush on this girl, and he feels his car was inferior because he heard a rumor that she dated a guy who had a beautiful Mustang kind of car, of course. But she tells him in private that she was a virgin, and that their relationship was just a rumor that came around. And of course she couldn't confirm the rumor because she was too scared, obviously. But they then soon kiss, and they start making out and becoming a real relationship. Later on, Danny goes to the pool party, and there she meets with the group, obviously, and where one of them, I think it was, I'm not sure which one it was, but they find out that Alexi's channel, her vlog channel, has been taken off because Alexi was faking her views. I don't know if that's a real thing, but it's probably a real thing. Anyway, she then goes and meets Cameron and says her apologies, and he says that you never lost me. Then they kiss and they make out, and we watch as they are being filmed by one of her friends, and they're being watched by Taylor and her mom, and it's just hilarious. We then also see Alexi at home eating a very big bowl of donuts. And she's crying because now she's just lost her popularity and lost her friends and lost Anyway, so later on, as the party progresses, there's a lot of dancing, playing, and a little bit of drinking and drugging, obviously. And of course, we see the principal finally hang loose, where he's taking a smoke. He was hanging out with the prankster of the group, who it confides to him that he didn't think he's just an easy target. And of course, the principal, he accepts this, and he doesn't mind about the pranks. Then they get a bit of a selfie, and then the credits roll after that. Now, what do I think of this movie? I think it's a pretty good movie. It's got a lot of interesting layers to it. It's a little I do think it's interesting. I don't see too many romances with this kind of balance. I mean, a lot of times I keep seeing a lot of movies out there that keep putting women in power, and women preferring power over romance. And I like romance more than power, obviously. And I kind of like it that Danny in the end knows that what she did was wrong, and she finally and people started realizing that Danny is not the issue, not the problem. And I'm kind of glad that in the end it had a good ending for Danny and her friends. And I like the fact that Alexi's friends and Cameron's friends all become friends with Danny because they started realizing that she's an okay girl to hang out with. So, what do I think of this movie? I'm going to give it 5 stars out of 5, obviously, because I really like it. So, that's everything. I don't have any issues with this movie, not one bad thing about it. So, I highly recommend you guys check it out. And oh yes, guys, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel below. Okay, so if you want to see any more videos, be sure to send send your comments my way, obviously. Alright, that's it for me, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys for my next one. Bye for now.